Welcome to the Southern U Podcast, brought to you by Darton Archery on the OKest Podcast Network, with your co-host, Matt Brock, Jeremy Ferguson, and Taylor McMurtry. If you're looking for all things land-related in the Southeast, you came to the right place. Whether it's real estate, habitat, wildlife, or just being outdoors, this is the place for you. Welcome to the Southern U. Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Southern U Podcast, where we talk all things land related in the Southeast. I'm joined to my left here by the man. Actually, I can't do this intro. I almost did Matt's.
Good
Jeremy
Lord.
Ferguson, a.k.a. Fergie Ferg, real estate, cattle. Just
all things unimportant.
Yeah, just a general knower of things. And back by popular demand to my right, we have Uncle Corey, a.k.a. Cody Green. Almost said Corey Green.
Yeah, Corey Greer. About the same.
Yeah, almost the same thing.
We answered everything.
Just don't call me late for biscuits.
That's right. And he's got a refuel on some pretty stout coffee, so he should be good to go for this episode.
That made me happy.
Yeah,
we couldn't get started without it.
I'm thankful that I'm not a coffee person.
Well, if Matt was here, it was milk. And
Yeah,
now
but I don't know
he's
if
here,
everybody can
now
see.
it's coffee.
You can see
so.
the whole 8-pack of
I came with a reload. I came prepared.
Yeah, I don't have an addiction,
But you notice,
but I just bring Dr. Peppers everywhere.
they're the baby version.
That's right.
I don't drink the full bottles.
That's right. 2
of my bottles just barely does equal 1 bottle.
Yeah, keep telling yourself that.
Oh, man.
I like them too, so I've got a double addiction.
There ain't no doubt about it.
Yeah.
That's right. Well, guys, we I guess before we jump into the topic at hand, we probably ought to do some shout-outs if y'all think of got a few. Jeremy, you want to kick it off?
I got a couple. Give a shout-out to Taylor Philpott and Jad. Sorry, Jad. I don't remember your last name. I'm terrible. I do remember it's Jad, Jadd, not Chad, but Jad with a J.
Interesting. Okay.
With Revive Outdoors. I spent some time with them, a couple hours. I guess it was last week now, but I had a big time talking hunting. Just all things hunting. Really, we didn't narrow down on one topic, but enjoyed spending some time with those guys, learning more about what they're doing. And then one more little shout out to my buddy Mark Brenner. Cody and I spent all day with him yesterday, putting some sunflowers in the ground and putting out some pre-emergent, some fertilize. And
called you a minute ago.
Huh? He did. Yeah.
Okay.
We trying to set up a meeting next week. But anyway, yeah, shout out to Mark. Always a big help to us.
Yep.
Handles a lot of my groundwork, or I say it ain't my groundwork, our groundwork down in, I guess, the Birmingham part of the world. Mm-hmm. So if my clients that are down that way, he does a lot of that for us. So
good dude.
Heck yeah. Uncle Corey, you got anything over there?
I'm fresh. I've been thinking the whole time. Know me, I draw blanks. Shout out
to Folgers.
Yeah, I was about to say for saving the day.
Yeah, shout
or
out
Green
to
Mountain or whatever it is.
Yeah, well, I ran out of the quote unquote
good coffee.
Yeah, good stuff.
That's pretty good right there.
But I juiced it up, so he should be stay awake for the whole episode.
Kind of like Gerald, most of my shout outs this last week have been negative, so I'm not gonna shout anybody. Not that I couldn't, but I don't want to go knocking on anybody.
That's funny.
Yeah. I think me and you both been kind of.
I will give a shout out to not a sponsor, but probably someone that should be a sponsor. We'd be all for it. Shout out to Waffle House.
Oh well, in that case, yeah.
I mean, I can't think of anything that goes better with hunting than Waffle House.
Yeah,
Like,
that's our team's goal this year is to secure sponsorships from Waffle House and Charmin.
That's right. Yeah.
I said dude wipes, but
Well, dude wipes will work. Hey,
Yeah.
you just got to be prepared when you're
shout
in
out
the
to
woods.
dude wipes. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, got to have that striking paper when you're in the woods.
Yep.
Yeah.
Which it sounds like Matt did not earlier this week.
Yeah, and if you don't know, y'all, Matt sent us a little text and informed us that the little hairs on red oak leaves will inflame thy rectum.
Cause some irritation.
The punishment of the perineum.
Oh me.
So
Yeah. So the things that you learn.
Hear that. That's
pays
awesome.
to be prepared.
Yeah. Well, I had always heard growing up with old timers and even through college that Harry Mullen, not
the common mullen.
common mullen.
I don't know if anybody's going to know what that is, but
Yeah.
it's a
It's
plant.
Nature's toilet paper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I was talking to a guy he's a plant guru, and I made a comment about it being toilet paper, and he's like, "Oh no, He's like, "You see them little hairs?" He said, "You wipe your hind end with that, and them little hairs is left." And he said, "You want to talk about a major irritant?"
Really?
Yeah. So I don't know. Look,
I'm gonna take his. I'm gonna take his word for
Tells
it.
you Uncle Corey ain't never tried that one.
Yeah, I go prepared. And I will tell you this: if you are hung in the woods and you do need nature's toilet paper, pick the ones off of the tree living.
Yeah, that's
The little dry, crunchy ones don't work.
I'll give you another little piece of advice. We're in Alabama. We're not necessarily in the out west country.
Oh yeah,
A good little dousing in the creek ain't never hurt nobody.
that's
Okay.
it.
Water is usually abundant. Right?
Yeah.
Do the splash.
I take a cold bath real quick before I wipe with something
Yeah.
potentially going to hurt me, because I know generally. I mean, all right, let's not get too deep into this, but
I don't want to get deep at all.
unless you get water out of a creek somewhere it really don't need to be, you probably ain't gonna get an infection from it. So
Yeah.
just wash yourself off. Anyway, hey, that's a good way to start.
That's a good segue into nature.
Well, yeah. Let's do the property highlight first.
There you go.
That way we can kind of clear our palate here.
Cleanse mine here.
Yeah, we got a nice. This listing is by Will Spear. Actually, a friend of mine actually owns this particular piece of property. Listed with Tut Land Company, but it's 43 acres. Listed on Tut Land's site as the Baldwin County Southern Woodland Cottage, y'all. Cottage. Okay,
Say.
we're not selling a college. We're selling a
Say,
cottage.
what we learning?
Yeah. It's just outside Bay Minette, 43 acres. Property was built in 2023, 900 square foot home, 1 bedroom, 1 bath, and it is currently operating as a very successful Airbnb. So if you're down in that southwest Alabama region, you're looking for an income producing property, hit up Will Spear. And you can also go to tutland.com and find this listing.
Heck yeah, man.
And again, not a college.
Not a college.
A cottage.
Yeah, I just need to gift that to Uncle Corey.
Yeah, you need a Baldwin County.
Plenty of
property.
room to park the boat.
Yeah.
Down with that.
Well,
Beautiful place. I've been there. Really, really nice place.
Cool. Well, if you're in that neck of the woods or looking for something there, then you might want to check it out.
Absolutely.
This episode here, we're kind of on the very tail end fringe of turkey season, wrapping that up. And we had some plans to kind of do some other turkey-related content. We still could at a later date.
Yeah, we may next time. We've been trying to get a guest on here, and just schedules hadn't worked, and it is what it is. But we may still try to get him up or get down there to see him next episode, if possible, to have a turkey season wrap-up episode.
Yep. But for today, what we're going to do is this time of year, Jeremy actually brought a topic here a little bit ago, and thought it'd be a good one to cover because obviously, as everybody's noticed, it's springtime and things are getting green and everything's growing and blooming and pollen's everywhere and all that good stuff. But talking about how to control invasive plant species. In the South, it seems like because of, I don't know, maybe the climate or the soil types that we have here, or maybe a combination of all of it, almost anything can live here, it seems like.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff that was not native here that can survive here, and some of it thrives here and can kind of cause problems when you're trying to manage for, if that's deer, turkey, quail, whatever. Some of it's good, some of it's not so good. So, anyways, we're going to kind of spend some time talking to these guys. They know a thing or two about it and how to control some of these unwanted.
We know a thing or two because we've seen a thing or two.
Hashtag not sponsored.
Only a thing or two, though.
Yeah. That's right.
Not three. Just one or two.
I've messed up a thing or two.
Yeah, no doubt. Speaking of, we're diving into these, and I want to start with Kogan grass. Be a good one.
Oh yeah. Well, so what I was going to do, number one, is just what actually qualifies something to be an invasive species. Like, is it strictly just that it was not native here, and that's the only criteria, or is there more than that?
No, it's just a non-native.
Yeah,
It'd be invasive.
It's out-competing, our native species, or can at least compete with and put some others out.
Stress them. Native plant community. If we're talking about plants,
and that's not the textbook definition. But
you're talking about animals like zebra mussels.
Yeah,
we got all
wild hogs.
Yeah, we're not in Florida, but
pythons be a good one.
Yep.
Or what do we have down there? Is it the boas? Is it reticulated python? I don't know. We need Matt for the snakes.
It's big old, huge, long snakes that ain't supposed to be there.
I'm pretty sure it's pythons.
All the native wild.
Maybe.
I think it is.
Reticulated python, maybe. I don't know. But anyway, we're talking about plants that
generally, yes,
we're trying to. I don't want to say eradicate because we're not going to eradicate them. It's not going to happen. We are just trying to control them on lands that we manage as best we can and promote the return of beneficial, native species.
Right.
But yeah, that would be a very basic.
There are invasive species that can be beneficial.
Well, that's what I was going to get at too. It's
absolutely.
not all of them are bad. So
yeah, but if it's out competing something that's native that is equally beneficial or better,
I mean, and one that people's minds go to from a deer standpoint is always privet. Privet gives deer a lot of cover at times and at certain densities.
I was hoping he wouldn't say that.
Yeah, and deer eat the devil out of it. But they'd rather eat some other stuff if it was there.
And it smells good when it blooms.
No, it don't. Look,
no, it smells good, but it wreaks havoc.
Okay, well, see, Cody says it smells good. Okay, and I want to quantify why I say it don't. And privet and honeysuckle are what wear me out. Okay, it whoops my butt, but. I don't talk to a lot of different women. It's my wife and a handful of friends.
I'd hope not.
But every one of them, I want you guys to actually guess at what they say it smells like while it's blooming.
Dead fish.
Nope.
I don't know. I think it has a not unpleasant smell.
A certain je ne sais quoi.
CC.
All right, so my little close circle of friends, including my wife, and one of them may have said it, and they all just agreed, and that's what it smells like from now on. You know how group mentality is, but they all say it smells like semen.
I wasn't
going there.
Hey, I wasn't seeing that one coming.
No,
me either. Okay,
well, I guess I don't know any of these women, but. Or maybe I do. I don't. But Lord help.
You know some of them. Yeah.
I was like, really?
See,
Because I never made that parallel. I mean,
no.
everybody.
And look,
and,
these podcasts go off the rail
Let's go
fast.
ahead off the record here, and let's just put this out here. Uncle Corey had COVID twice. The first time I lost 100%, and I've got back about 20, maybe to 30% of my. I can't smell.
I could smell.
And that's not like a
my truck yesterday.
Feel bad for me thing. It's just the way it is. I can't smell coffee cooking in the pot.
We hopped in the truck yesterday to go down and plan all that and crank the truck and go to move it, and it says low coolant. And I'm like, crap. So we tear off and we go get coolant, put in the truck so we can leave, and we're driving down the road and get almost to McVille Road, and I look at Cody, I'm like, you smell coolant? He looked at me and goes, I don't smell nothing.
It really hurt my feelings.
Okay.
I noticed that I probably did have the big COVID when I was at the cabin.
Yeah, you were.
And when I found out that I have it, and
he homesteaded the cabin for about 45 days.
Yeah, well, it's back then. It's like you gonna die if you get around anybody. So I was already there, but I think that was before I got that Keurig machine, and I think we just had a regular coffee pot, and I had that thing set to go off at like 4 because I wasn't sick enough to not go hunting while I was there, and I'd woke up
too sick to work. Not
sick enough to not hunt.
I'm going hunting anyway.
Right.
And really, I
There's a fine line.
He was actually on vacation.
I think, that was the first.
Give him a hard time.
The bigger flat screen TVs that was bought in that period. I was like,
yeah. Speaking of the one y'all left over there, is dead.
Is it?
And the subsequent TV that we bought is dead.
Yeah.
Dude, what's happening over there?
Y'all's,
I don't know.
I don't know. The one y'all's bought, I don't know if lightning got it or what. But it just, does the little flicker.
God, that sucks.
What is it? What movie? The Shining? Was that what it was in? Or
oh yeah, I know what you're talking about.
But anyway, and then the other one, we showed up over there. I don't know, just during deer season toward the end, and deer heads are laying in the floor. TV's got busted screen laying in the floor. So I don't know. Obviously deer heads fell out of the wall, but I don't know why.
Small earthquake. I don't know.
But just everything was laying in the floor.
Yeah. With a busted TV.
So
what did Uncle Corey do?
Go get another one.
Let's go to Wally World
immediately.
Oh, we've got accustomed to it now. It's like
now it sits in the floor. It can't fall.
But back to my point, I was laying in bed, and I don't know if it was right around the time I needed to get up, and my whole life, the coffee pot going off since we came up with coffee pots that would go off like alarm clocks.
Percolators.
That's what wakes me up was when that coffee pot kicks in. And I was like, I ain't smelled the coffee pot go off, and I looked at my phone. It was time to get up. And I was like,
it was 10 a.m.
And I walked in there in the kitchen, and I'm like, no, the coffee pot's about half full, and it's making. And I was like, wait a minute. And I stuck my nose in that. And, I'm talking about my face in it, nothing.
I will say the only good thing that came from getting COVID about that time is if I had young, like little kids. And
I know where this is going.
You can't smell a dirty diaper.
Yeah.
So,
hey.
So they just walk around crappy all day.
If you
you need clean? Oh, okay.
If you have to change a diaper, it's like, I'm probably a little more willing to change them now than I would normally be.
Mary lost her sense of smell for a little bit, but I tell you, hers is unbelievable. I hear that women typically have a little better sense of smell than men, but I think she could be employed by that
no
perfume factory.
Drug task force.
Yeah, she smells stuff that I don't begin.
You could put a GPS collar on your wife, and she would outdo most any dog tracking deer. That sun gun can smell. You hear me?
It's wild. And apparently her grandmother was the same way.
Huh.
But yeah, she can. She's not a masterful cook. She can cook, but I cook well, and I do. I cook well, and you agree.
You cook pretty good.
But she can smell ingredients in something that's cooked.
Yeah.
And I don't mean garlic.
Right.
You know, she's like, does that have such and? I'm like, I mean, it's 10 pounds of whatever I've cooked, and it's got half a teaspoon.
Yeah.
How do you know that?
As somebody
So I
that
smell
loves
it.
to cook, I wish I had that, but at the same time, I'm glad I don't.
Yeah.
They can smell it.
Because I mean, yeah, it's just it's the things that I smell now are the things that I don't smell, and other people are like, oh my God, and I'm like,
Yeah.
man, big deal.
I keep the windows rolled up, riding up and down the road on him, and he never knows it.
That ain't no lie.
I'm like, your eyes should be watering right now.
Crop dust.
Gag a maggot.
Oh man. Well,
But let's jump in.
we'll try to get them back on the rails here. All right. So you said that there's more to an invasive than just being a non-native. That it's outcompeting native species.
Mm-hmm.
So, what are some? I know you already mentioned privet, but what's another common invasive that is causing problems across just kind of our area of the world?
Yeah, one that everybody knows is kudzu.
Mm-hmm.
A very common one for us in the deep south that everybody knows about is Kogan grass. Mm-hmm. But once you get away from coastal community, I think even up the East Coast has got some in places. But it's primarily deep south. But now we have patches of it
I would say
all through North Alabama and into some, even a little, more north than that. But it's we're moving it around as humans by not doing our due diligence or don't know what it is and getting in it and taking seed or taking roots and then putting them somewhere else.
and you can kill it and get rid of it with timing and spraying and all that, but it's you see it's a lot. I'd say south of Birmingham is where you
I think they've totally almost given up on Mobile and Baldwin counties. I don't know that the state or the counties even fight it anymore. They just
I've noticed now where they in places they're not even spraying the interstate sides anymore.
Well, there wouldn't be anything left if they did.
Well, I mean, that's
and it's just going to come back.
You're right. So, it's don't want that in your green field. We'll just say that.
So, and I don't know if I'm got my facts straight here, but was kudzu not brought here intentionally as a way to feed cattle? Was that not?
It was as an erosion control agent. Yeah.
Yeah. And if I look, memory come and go, but if I remember correctly, a lot of that was assisted with Auburn University to bring it over here to look at.
Kudzu was.
Right,
yeah.
kudzu. And look, I know people that have, Lord Almighty, they've dug up tubers and moved it and planted it in an area that they felt like they could control it for deer food.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Now, I'm totally against it. But the last I knew of that particular track, he had kept it right in about a 10-acre spot and just kept it burned off and sprayed so that it didn't get in anything else. Mm-hmm. But if he ever sells it, that's another landowner may not take that kind of care of it.
I mean, it's
I would nuke it if it was on my place.
Yeah,
or actually, it is on my place, and I'm currently nuking it.
You got to nuke it several times.
Yeah.
But yeah, hey, that's great. You want to do it? What happens when you're gone, man? I mean, it's just I don't know. This stuff like that is, which Jeremy, that drives me insane. Invasive species and the fact that people do stupid stuff like that. And
y'all dealt a lot.
He already knows. My arch nemesis on this planet, I guess maybe not. I hate it worse than mosquitoes. Is privet. I have just got a dadgum bloodlust in my soul. I hate it. I hate it. It just, there's something that I told somebody one time, I'd take a full-time job for the rest of my life if it paid good enough, just hacking and squirting privet anywhere on anybody's property or spraying it with herbicide.
You're going to get a lot of messages.
Yeah, I'm about to say, he's for hire, guys.
I hate privet. Mulch it, whatever you got to do, get rid of it.
Yeah.
It ain't. worth of.
So the big ones really that we fight doing what we do in wildlife management, by and large, is going to be privet, Kogan grass, and kudzu, and then sprinkle in, depending on where you are and what, who's been on the property, is Sericea lespedeza. That's probably the 4 biggest that we fight. Now, we also in food plots deal with stuff like Johnson grass and other non-natives that we would consider an invasive species, but the general public doesn't consider them invasive because we are using them as cultivars to do something specific, by and large, feed cattle.
Yeah, ryegrass and Bermuda grass comes in a pretty close second to privet for me. It is
ryegrass sucks.
From a wildlife standpoint, it is absolutely useless.
And
are you saying because it does not provide them with any kind of adequate nutrition?
And it's so hard to get rid of.
Okay.
And there's no nutritional value. I mean, let's just say Bermuda grass. Okay, we plant that here in your yard, your pasture. Hay fields are really useless for almost all wildlife.
Yeah,
they're no good.
And the crazy thing, and it's funny. Because I tell my dad this all the time, that we deal with Bermuda grass in the wildlife setting, and we do everything we can to kill it. And on his farm, we've got several Bermuda fields that we try to take really, really good care of, and on occasion struggle. But there's different varieties of Bermuda grass. One that used to be popular in this part of the world is coastal Bermuda. And for some reason, it doesn't do well here long term. We finally let our coastal Bermuda just peter out, and a lot of the other farmers around here have, and replaced it with different varieties. But I kid people, you try to grow it out here in your yard, and you spend thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars trying to get your yard looking good. And we go out there and we will nuke a place trying to kill life itself. And the one thing that comes back is Bermuda grass.
I mean, I this was in Texas, but down there, you got a whole different world down there, like everywhere else. Depends on where you are, but they got KR blue stem, they got buffalo grass, they got a whole different list of invasive grasses and species and stuff out there that we dealt with. But still, out there, guess what? Bermuda grass. It would take over places, and you'd be like, oh well, it's nothing but droughts out there. You don't have to worry about that. But I'm telling you something, it wouldn't die. It would go dormant just like the winter time. And that's I talked with some of the agronomists and stuff down there that were more knowledgeable than me by far, and they said that it adapted to that down there, and I can't remember what exact cultivar it was, but I'm talking about getting 3-weight clethodim, 15 ounces acre, and having to spray it clethodim, Roundup, clethodim, discus. I'm talking just to try to get which down there I was running irrigation, and just trying to keep it, to kill it in a field to where I could grow sunflowers or whatever, sesame for dove. And that stuff down there that's the hardest thing I've ever tried to kill in my life, hands down, was the Bermuda down there in South Texas. You can, all the other invasives, you could whack them as long as you hit them again with, before seed and all that. It was still tough.
Yeah.
But Bermuda.
And there's a lot of other ones that cause issues all across
I'm just
the country.
talking about ones that stick in my craw that I've dealt with. And I'm sorry, but ooh.
So with those, does the method of control on those things just depend on?
Depends on what they are.
Access or time of year, or because I know
all of the above.
Yeah. The species type.
Like privet. A lot of people work their end off on trying to control privet, and privet's actually very easy to control if you've got access to it. and that's a late winter. Now it can't be these 0 degree days because it's an evergreen, and it will actually defoliate in extreme cold. But if you can catch it in the late winter time when it's not that cold and before it's actively growing and spray it, I mean, you can spray it with a non-selective like glyphosate, or you can mix 2,4-D, or you can just hit it with 2,4-D. I mean, there's a variety of herbicides that you can broadcast over the top of privet. If you do that late winter, you smoke it. But the problem is you've got to have access to it. And now with drones the way they are and pilots the way they can fly these things, now you've actually got another tool in your tool belt that if the canopy is open enough and the trees are sparse enough, you can fly and broadcast over the top of those things with drones. But a lot of times you're limited on how you can access it, and you're doing it either by hand or by skidder.
Yeah. In the wintertime, before everything else blooms out and gets leaves on it, or you'll kill everything.
That's right. Yep. That's why I say late winter.
Yeah.
And for us, I mean in December through February.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Now, if you're further south than us, in the deep south, if you get into mid-late February, you're starting to have some species green up, especially like this year.
Yeah.
I mean, my gosh, turkeys were breeding in February this year. Yeah. Argue with me and I'll show you proof.
Yeah,
but anyway,
they're in groups of 16 gobblers everywhere we're hunting right now. So,
but that's a real easy way to control privet, and it's not all that work intensive. I mean, honestly.
Yeah, I would say the sun has shined really well on privet control in the last 10 years or so.
Yeah, I think they did some research.
I'm feeling a lot better about it.
Yeah, I think I think there was some research conducted on using fire, even on big privet. They had crews that were going through with torches and just getting that stump or stem of the privet to a certain temperature where it pops and it kills the cambium and being real effective. Now, that's labor intensive, but there are certain areas that like a bottomland hardwood forest that is dense enough that you can't get drones, can't get helicopter. You don't really want to put skidder in there. And burning is almost not an option because it's bottomland. It's always wet, always humid. But they were going through there and having actually really good results that way.
And that's what I was sitting here thinking. Like, I mean, it's not enough land here to quote unquote manage at the house here, but Slab Creek runs through our property. Well, my entire property, every inch of it at the creek down there is just covered in privet. And I'm sitting here thinking,
therein lies my hatred.
You couldn't burn it. There's no way there's no way you could get a skid steer in there. I mean, you definitely can't get one across the creek to the other side. I don't know how you know what I mean? I'm just sitting here going, you can't fly a drone there. It's too many trees.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how you would
take
do that.
an ATV with a high pressure pump and spray it.
Yeah.
And that's what we did. I'll leave the city out. When we first started business, we were doing anything and everything that we could do to make a living. And I've had a commercial pesticide license for a long time, and had a municipality in North Alabama call me and like, hey, we found you on the list that can do these type projects. Can you come up here and look? And it was actually the municipality had I guess some type of use letter from the wildlife refuge system, U.S. Fish and Wildlife, to where they could utilize certain acreage of a refuge. And but we ended up, spraying, and the only thing we could get in there that was low impact was four-wheelers and side-by-sides. So we went in and high-pressure pumps with ATVs and just broadcast that over the tops in the winter. And, of course, obviously we had to play by the rules with U.S. Fish and Wildlife, but I mean, just one application, U.S. Fish and Wildlife followed up and did, a survey of what kind of control they got, and it was over 90% control that we got with one application.
Yeah.
So,
and that's
the time of the year
I've had
matters.
a few tracks in the past few years that I have burned. Excuse me, intentionally in the growing season, and it was mostly low-lying areas that had a lot of privet, but it also had a lot of fuel, so it held a lot of moisture. But I waited in the summertime till it got really hot and low humidity, which is you got to be careful. You got to know what you're doing.
you don't have many of those days either.
And I smoked. So, it's one of the deals of you shouldn't be able to kill privet that big. Well, when it completely canopies out a timber stand, and you got enough fuel that has built up over several years, and essentially it was timber stands that were neglected. But by gosh,
Heat can't get out.
I smoked it, and I mean, and it didn't hurt the trees, didn't hurt anything except mainly briars and privet. And man, they're calling me down there now, going, man, tell you what, them turkeys and the deer all in this stuff, and that privet's crumbling, falling to the ground. I'm like, yeah, but if you don't keep it burnt, it's going to be right back, or spray it. But that's something that's not really in the couple properties. It's not in their budget to bring a skidder in those places or something. But anyway, you can kill it, like I said, getting it good and hot, but you got to really be in tune to doing that.
So what effect, I want to talk specifically about hunting, right? So what effect do these types of invasive plant species have when it comes to hunting deer and turkey? Like, what kind of negative impact or what kind of problems does that create?
Ingress and egress.
It depends.
Yeah. But that would be my biggest.
I have a
ingress and egress.
I've got a theory for deer specifically, and it's the good old boy country dude, not a biologist theory.
Let's hear it.
All right. So everybody's going to make fun of me for saying this, but
I
have said for a long time, one of the reasons that it's so hard to kill mature deer in Alabama and in the South in general, Mississippi, Georgia, whatever, where privet is like prevalent. There's a lot of it. On pressured properties, especially, they don't have to show their face because it doesn't get cold enough down here generally. Like you said, hey, eventually, if it gets really, really cold, then it'll drop. But deer can just hang out in that thick stuff and eat privet.
Let me
and never show their face.
Yeah, let me.
And that's why it's so hard.
Let me bump your point. You said they don't have to show their face. Let's just take another step, folks. They can't show their face because it's so cotton picking thick.
Yep.
I mean, and that is why there are a lot of good old deer in a lot of places in Alabama. They'll never be seen. Because they got that kind of habitat. Or you
get a picture. You get one.
But but it's just like I just said. What did I say a minute ago? Ingress and egress. And I'm not talking about the deer. I'm talking about being able to get in and out of properties to hunt and see. I mean, it's just.
And that's why, like, again, I know we've talked about this several times, and I'm not going to bring up old stuff, but we've talked about the comparison of hunting like the Midwest versus the Southeast and how those are different worlds and for a lot of different reasons. But that's one of them. Like, if you've got some kind of a lush green food source
all the time
in Iowa, and everything is, frozen solid, like, well, your only chance to go and eat something that's not frozen solid is during daylight hours where it might get have a tendency to thaw something out. It doesn't get that cold here. Yeah. And so there's stuff here plenty for them to eat. They don't have to come out there and stand in front of you on a food plot.
And let's not be mistaken here. Privet's not really a really highly nutritional species.
No, they just eat it.
But they will browse the fire out of it. But once, here's the deal. Privet, we think about choking out edge habitat. We think about choking out riparian areas. We think about it. privet will get enormous.
Oh, yeah.
And it will create a canopy underneath. And y'all talking about eating it. It can get to the point where it's just like a pine timber stand. It's too thick. It shades everything out. Nothing will grow under it.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, that's what I'm saying. There's nothing about that plant that I like from a wildlife standpoint. And it provides.
It don't even make good wood to cook with.
Yeah, I mean, you couldn't make a turkey call out of it. I mean, if you tried, I mean, it's useless.
Get out of here.
Balsa wood. I mean, I can make one of the wood airplanes out of it. But I mean, for real though, I mean, it's not to get too deep into hunting. I know we wanted to get on that segment, but boy, let's go down that mountain if you wanted to.
Well, I mean,
the deer, like directly, that it has saved their lives between me and some of my friends, my brother. I mean, I'm talking about Kyle almost had a doggone hammer dead with his recurve. He couldn't get a shot. He was walking through privet. One of the 2 deer in the state of Alabama that I have rattled up and shot and killed. And I'm talking about sure enough, hammer down, sun gun come in like Texas, fixing to kill the world. It was down there in Auburn on that lady's farm that let me hunt, where I took care of her horses and bush hogged and stuff. And I mean, I rattled that son of a gun up. I was in a poplar about 30 feet high above a drain that was nothing but privet. And this son of a gun came. I couldn't see him till he was right under me. And Jeremy knows that pretty good 800, 1528 point. And he literally was 3 steps from the bottom of the tree I was on. And I had, cut me a hole where I could get my climber up through it. And this deer is grunting and looking. And I finally got a hole. I seen it at the side of his rack. I was like, I was in college. I was like, dude, that's a good one. And, and I had my rifle. It was in January. And I had one hole. Finally, he got his neck in the hole. And I shot that deer right below the ear. And the whole time I'm like, I'm never going to be able to mount this deer. I just ruined it. But I had to kill it. I mean, I just rattled in a giant in the state of Alabama. I killed the deer, and somehow I put that 30-06 right at the corner of its jaw. The bullet expanded, and you couldn't even tell it had been shot on the other side. But anyway, yeah, you're hunting in a forest of I can't see if so I don't know.
From a hunt, but that's my theory.
I
don't know
it.
if it makes any sense.
Oh, it makes perfect sense to me.
Oh yeah, no, it privet sucks.
I hate it.
Hashtag privet sucks.
Yep. And some of these other species, they, like Kogan grass, for example, it will take over an understory in a hurry if you don't know it's there, or if you just take a mindset that it's not going to hurt anything, because it is highly competitive. Its rhizomes are like dang little needles, so it can actually pierce roots of other plants and kill them and utilize the nutrients that those plants could have been using and the moisture too. So it just creates a carpet, and then it burns extremely hot when you burn it. So that in turn, can kill the timber itself, or you can get a fire so hot that it, kills what's on the top layer you seed bank there, kills the seeds or whatever. And so it's just a nightmare. You have to either disc Kogan grass to death, or you got to spray it.
And I remember if you guys check out on Instagram, the Blue Finger Chronicles.
Yep.
Matt talked a little bit about the Kogan grass when we were in Greene County.
Yeah.
One of those, I think. And those little, what'd you call them? The little
rhizomes.
There you go. Yeah. They'll pop a tire too,
Oh, they're sharp, son.
They'll mess up a ATV or a.
But funny story. We were when I worked for a timber company years ago. We had a guy that he did a lot of our Kogan grass spraying amongst a whole lot of other stuff, but he was our primary Kogan grass sprayer. And Bill was an older gentleman. He had been to Vietnam, and landmine blew up beside him, and so he couldn't hear squat. I mean, couldn't hardly hear nothing. He's reading your lips when you're talking. Mm-hmm. And so we gave him the prescription of the herbicides to use on the Kogan grass. And, you got it, Bill? Yeah, got it. And he tarries off, and he treats Kogan grass for a year. And the next year, we go start doing Kogan grass control again. And he's like, same prescription, same chemicals. Well, let's see what you got. We've learned a little bit here and there. This is a good reminder for everybody to check your prescriptions twice before you use them. Son of a gun was using 248 ounces of active ingredient per acre.
So
it was like
what?
20 times worker protection standard, or worker safety standard.
So the Kogan grass was controlled, is what you're saying.
Oh, yeah.
And everything else.
Yes. Yeah. But he killed all the Kogan grass.
Yeah.
I'm sure statute of limitations is up. Well, heck, the company don't even exist anymore either. So good luck with that, EPA. But, but yeah, I'm talking about smoked it. But repeated herbicide treatments, and sometimes you can get little small spots that haven't been established a long time with one treatment. Generally, you're going to have to hit it 2 years in a row with herbicides.
I got you.
And look, there's plenty of information out there on what herbicides to use on all these. We're not going to give out prescriptions. You need to learn to read the label, people.
Yes.
Don't go by what somebody tells you on Facebook.
Trust me, I've read
or
a million
else.
of them, and I still go back and read them again because I can't remember half of them that I wrote down. But
just read the label, and then if you have questions, you can ask. And there are qualified people on social media, but you need to make sure they are qualified.
Yeah.
And really, the go-to place would be your county extension agent.
Yeah.
They're going to have great information on
at least
herbicides.
A local agronomist that worked for somebody that deals with that type thing, and they generally in your area have a endless knowledge of these type things when it comes to controlling stuff.
And nothing against salesmen at box stores or co-ops or whatever. There are some folks there with backgrounds in herbicide and fertilizer and things like that. If they consult the label and they give you some information, that's probably pretty good to follow. But just because somebody at the counter says, "Oh yeah, Fred from so and so uses this and said it works great," do better research than that.
Right.
Yeah. And that don't mean being said sound arrogant. It's the truth.
No,
it's true.
We read the label yesterday.
Yeah, it's true. I've gotten so much bad information in the past, and just thankfully never done anything real stupid. But just had the wherewithal to read the label or research it some, and like, whoa, that is way, way off, and then kind of backtracked and talked to the people, and they were like, well, that's what I was doing and having. Well, yeah, you were having success with it because you were using 6 times as much. And a lot of these people that they're catching on real fast because some of it's $1,000 a gallon to buy the herbicide, so you definitely don't want to be wasting it.
That's right.
It's like us yesterday.
It's like anything else too. Like you can just. I got a million things to do. I'm in a hurry. I got to hurry up.
Well,
don't guess
stuff
at
like
that.
I know when talked about the place at Cedar Mountain, smoking that field, because
You talking about the burn?
No.
Oh, you talking about spraying?
We were making a herbicide application, and I had some contract labor help, and
Got you. Okay.
I gave him the prescription. I said, look, you're going to use 12 ounces, and it was verdict, 12 ounces of verdict. And then I gave him the number of gallons of water, GPA he was going to be spraying, and all that. And he went and did it, and I was doing something else. And I got back to the shop, and there said an empty jug of verdict. And I'm like,
shouldn't have used that much.
This isn't right.
Hey,
And
you're fired.
So it was already, look, by the time I get there, it's already sprayed. Well, what was supposed to be 12 ounces per acre was 12 ounces per gallon of water. So needless to say, they didn't squat grow
people. If
in
you
that field.
don't understand it,
Ask.
yes, Lord help. Call me. I mean, I get, like I said, it's amazing at the free information we give out.
No, there ain't no doubt.
And I mean, it's one of those things like, you know, we do this for a living, but the sheer number of people that I run into, and not being ugly, I mean, it is, you know, it's not easy to do, but get somebody to, or at least get on the YouTube and do your research. Learn how to calibrate. There ain't two sprayers the same. And from season to season, the same sprayer, but calibrate your sprayers. Calibrate, check everything, because this stuff nowadays is expensive.
Same with your drills and planters.
You know, learn how to do that. Over time, it will save you a ton of money, a ton of heartache, a ton of stress because something didn't turn out the right way. And if you got the money, just pay us. We'll come do it.
That's right.
Or somebody on the Habitat Network.
Well,
you know, they'll take care of you.
I don't think there's another topic that's centered around what we do that has more misconceptions than herbicides and how to use them.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, well, you know, we put that's Roundup about 2.5 ounces to the gallon. That's cute and everything if you're spraying around your house. But when you're out on a landscape level and you got a 300-gallon sprayer or something,
you just put out a lot of herbicide.
Yes. So that, I mean, and like I just said, it's a big math problem. Mm-hmm. It's not very easy to do, and it depends on how elaborate your type sprayer and system you have. They can get as fancy as, you know, some of these like row crop deals is like they got a whole computer system running them, and it can be,
they just spurting on individual plants.
Yeah, and it'll be right down to you know, a $25 sprayer you buy at Ace Hardware, you know,
operated like this.
Yeah. Well,
and by the way, I'm pumping and flopping the wand if you're not watching.
But, you know, it just...
Oh, he's playing drums.
You need to know about, it, you know, general, even on a small scale, what you're putting out.
Yeah.
And on a large scale, you better know what you're putting out, or...
Well, one of the common misconceptions I hear about
thousands of dollars
about herbicides is like, man, the hotter the temperature is, the better. And I'm like, whoa, do you realize how many chemicals out there are volatile at anything above like 85 degrees, and they just kind of go poof in the air, and then they go way over yonder in the air column, and when you have a temperature inversion that night and you start getting some moisture in the air, it sits down on a soybean field, and guess what? Dead soybean field, 8 miles from where you just put out
and Jim Bob goes, I didn't kill that, I was 10 miles over there. And you're like, well, do you really understand how this works? No.
Alabama Department of Transportation kind of got in trouble for that several years ago.
Really?
Well, by gosh, when you get sued by somebody, you'll learn how it works. Because, I mean, that's one of the biggest things. Well, it was really big in Texas because where I was.
Oh, yeah.
I was having me some big times, boy. I mean, I was doing it too.
It was 90 degrees when you woke up.
I had me a budget, let me tell you. and I could do anything, grow anything, whatever. But also within a mile of any direction of where I was peanut fields.
Yeah.
And hey, I learned really, really fast. You better watch what you're doing and do it at the right times.
Yeah, peanuts are
the
very
right
sensitive.
humidity, right wind, and you better be a perfectionist at it.
They're like soybeans. They are very
yes,
sensitive
sir.
to certain
And I'm not
classes of herbicides.
I ain't talking about 20 acres. I'm talking about 2,000 acre fields of peanuts and potatoes and the stuff that they mainly grow down there. And it's just like, hey, you better
My first Rio was killed right outside of center pivot with potatoes.
Taters. Yeah, it was, sure was. And he was hollering for $1, honey boo boo.
He was. Ow! He got shot because he was hollering too much.
Yeah.
That's the same place. Later, Brock lost his Benchmade. So
Oh yeah.
there's a Benchmade laying there beside a cactus somewhere where Brock took a poo poo.
And just over the ridge from where he tripled.
Yeah.
All the
Yeah. Yeah. You know, like I tell everybody, you can't take Brock anywhere.
Yeah. You get 2 turkeys, bro. A day?
A shot?
Yeah.
Nah. Hey, when he's not here, we get to rag on him. He can't protect himself.
That's right.
Yeah.
I know something I was going to ask you guys too, because it made me think of when we were at the place in Coleman.
Tony's.
Yes. You had picked out a particular plant that was growing there and said, this is naturalized. It's not native.
Yep.
It's naturalized. So, and it's tremendous deer food. It's awesome.
It is, yeah.
All right. So explain what you mean by that when something has been naturalized. It's not a native. I mean, it's not naturally grown here. So what does that mean?
It means it has kind of found a niche within our local plant communities and doesn't seem to outcompete or put another species really out.
Okay.
So it's an important pollinator.
So it gets a stamp of approval to say this thing's okay.
It's an accepted.
Yeah, it's not something that purists are going to try to propagate and expand or plant or anything like that. But it is something for us as wildlife managers. Is we know it's there. It's a great food. It's not really negatively impacting us, so there's no need to really try to fight it because that's an expenditure that's not needed. Yeah. But you know, there are a wild number of species that are throughout the U.S. that are considered naturalized. That it's just accepted it's being there. "Quote unquote," it's not hurting anything. The native habitat purists are going to disagree with you, but that's okay. We can have differing opinions on that type of thing.
I think on our level, you got so many other battles to fight.
Yes,
you're not going to pick and fight those battles with a plant that's really not hurting anything. It's kind of helping. You're going to go kill privet.
Yep. We have that what you're talking about is vervain, and we have a patch of it growing outside of our back door at the house, and my wife will not allow me to cut it down. Like, it looks like crap, just right outside the back door, growing around a telephone pole there that's coming to the house, and it's just eat up with vervain in a 5-foot circle around that pole. And the number of songbirds and butterflies and other pollinators that are coming to that, it's just unbelievable. Yeah. And she sits there on the porch and watches it. So,
yeah, nothing wrong with that.
Yep. No, there's definitely worse things.
So, yeah. I would love to weed eat it and get it a little cleaner, but that's for my eyes. That's the pleasure of my eyes, having things cleaned up.
Yeah.
And really not.
I've had some experience
to the
with
detriment of other things.
Yeah.
Right.
So, do you want aesthetics or do you want wildlife?
Mm-hmm.
There is a fine balance that can be found, but there's a lot of people out there that are more worried about the way things look than the way they need. But it's those same people that go, man, I want all these turkeys and deer and my wildlife to thrive. And I'm like, you
Quit
gonna
mowing that 10-acre field with bush hog 3 times a year.
Okay, well, then you don't need to have a horse farm. You know, they just don't go together. Okay,
Right.
I think most people have the image in their head of like this has to look like a
Park.
manicured golf course
Yeah,
or something
that's-
like that.
That's
in order
not what
for it to be
wildlife want.
right.
Well, and see, a big part of that is our fault from I'm going all the way back to a management from a government type agency standpoint. Our state parks should look like good wildlife. They shouldn't look like places that we go to strictly recreate and play in the grass, okay?
Yeah.
They want to keep all these things maintained because they don't want people getting ticks all over them and chiggers and snakes and all this. These parks should be left wild. You know, the campground should be the campground. Yeah, maintain it. But everything else should be grown up and managed.
There's no
either
ecological
with-
management
yeah,
that
with
I know
fire
of
or something else.
on hardly any of our state parks.
They're getting better. Like they burned Gunnersville the last 2 or 3 rotations instead of doing so much bush hogging and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
but what, every 15, 20 years?
Well, that's what I'm saying. They've changed it now to where that's what they're doing.
Yeah, well, it's
I won't forget seeing that place on fire. I guess it was last year. We had been burning somewhere, and I rolled across the mountain and hit the river bridge, and looked up, and I was like, "Holy crap, that's a big fire!" And they were burning state park off, or a big chunk of the state park.
Yeah.
so I was unaware of that. I mean,
It was a tremendous issue when they happened. But the best thing that happened to that park from a wildlife standpoint and a habitat standpoint was when the tornado hit it.
Oh yeah, it laid down a lot of trees.
Yeah.
It had gotten to be, air quotations here, old growth, closed canopy, gigantic pine trees just everywhere.
but it's getting to be that
And
way
there's-
again.
It's getting there.
The only thing that
They
is
need to start
recently,
cutting some timber.
well, they don't. Have you?
I hadn't been down there.
The Lord did it. All
the
the
pine
big
beetles?
pines are dead because of southern pine beetle. And
Yeah.
there's a lot of sunlight hitting the surface now.
Well, that was a lot. I mean, there still is a lot of deer down there too, and
Too many.
I
There
don't,
used to be
I don't
too
know
many.
how really they could have all, other than I guess people feeding them by hand, stuff like that. I don't know how they can really become healthy without those trees.
They
coming
can't
down.
because the stuff you feed them by hand is terrible
No.
for them.
Yeah.
When,
Saltine crackers don't do a whole lot for deer nutrition.
Yeah, I've talked about it before. When I was with the department, we shot deer out there for herd health surveys and all kind of different things. And part of it was to reduce the population a little bit.
Yep.
But they had a hunt this time, didn't they? That's what I was told.
Off the record, but on the record, yeah, I can confirm that they had a deer hunt in Gunnersville State Park this year. I know they did. I never heard about it.
Don't know if it was who it was open to or whatever.
Yeah, so that's kind of where I'm at. I was like, and the way it was portrayed to me, because just leave it to me to get into something. I see the game warden. It was an officer. It said law enforcement on his truck, pulled perpendicular to the road, and I don't. They
Sounds like what we used to do. So it sounds like what we used to do.
They told me who it was, and I forget the officer's name. But I come around the curve, and he's not very far removed from that curve. I mean, he was just, and first off, I see this, my blood pressure shoots out the roof. I'm like, what is this goon doing? He's fixing to get T-boned by somebody that's not Uncle Corey coming through here, semi doing the speed limit. Somebody come down through here in a car running about 60, and he's fixing to Well, I get right past him, and I mean, I see a pretty good buck deer, and he's just coming along the edge of the woods, and he's kind of walking slow, and he just goes inside the woods there and stops. And I can't remember. I'd have to think of the process, but I went on up and met another vehicle or something, and they came out and they were slowing down, and I pulled in and it dawned. I said, well, he was looking for that deer. I was like, that's kind of unorthodox. Why would he be shining? I mean, it was I'm not going to throw a number at it, but it was a big buck. And I was like, maybe it was hit by, I said, it got hit by a car. Let me go back here. So I got parked there, and I walked back down the road with a flashlight, and I shined down the woods, and there's the deer standing there looking at me. And then another car stops up there talking to him. Well, they talk for a minute while I'm walking toward him, and then he backs up and leaves. Well, the two people that I wound up talking to, two ladies, and they're like, well, he's looking for a deer. I said, I know the deer's right there. I was like, it was hit by a car or something. She goes, oh, no, it's shot. I said, shot? She said, yeah, well, it was in the state park in the deer hunt they're having. I said, deer hunt? I'm like completely blindsided. And turns out somebody shot it with a bow and gut shot it. Oh, my Uncle Corey instinct coming in, I'm like, well, I got a 380 or I got guns. I just need to go shoot this deer and be done with it. And call somebody. These two girls were with Alabama A&M biology students. I don't know exactly what it was. They said it was a learn hunt or something.
Mentored hunt.
It was a mentored hunt. Okay. But they had a whole big to do about it. And anyway, as far as I know, the deer got away. I never could get anybody there. Somebody else comes down the road, and I mean, they don't know who I am from Adam, and I'm like, yeah, your deer's standing right there. I mean, he laid down by a log. They said, well, we're going to come back in the morning and we're going to look for it. And I don't know if they ever found it. I don't know, but I told them, I said, I know the guy that owns the land back there. I don't know if he'd let you own it or not, but the way they were kind of approaching it was, we're going to get that deer in the morning. And I was like,
better
not on his property. I don't care who you are unless he says yes. But anyway, a long story. They did a deer hunt last year in there. I don't know how many they killed. I don't know anything about it.
They take care of any invasives while they were there?
Probably. People invasives. They were taking care of some, I saw.
Yeah, they've actually been working on that kind of stuff. Where'd we get to, Tay?
The only other thing I was going to ask is we talked about like nutrition and those types of things with how it affects wildlife populations, but what other problems do invasive species present? I guess, is it for turkeys, does that disrupt nesting habitat, brood habitat? Like, does that cause problems there? With deer, is that, like you said, hey, they'll eat privet. They don't necessarily, it's not their first choice. If there were other things out here growing instead of privet, they'd probably rather have that. Or, what other problems?
Number one is it displaces our native species. And like, for example, Kogan grass, it destroys nesting habitat. It destroys foraging habitat, brood rearing habitat. I guess one could argue that it's pretty good fawn cover because it's thick, but it's just not anything that we need. Privet, as Cody talked about, once it gets a certain size, it shades everything out, and it can get so many stems per acre that it's just so thick that even sizable rack bucks, a little spike 4-point can run through it. But these places that deer, they really can't get through it. It's so many stems per acre, that it looked like those little agility courses for dogs where they weaving back and forth through them sticks. I mean, that's the only way to
you
navigate
find
that kind of
places
stuff.
where there's trails like that. They've had to pick out their route through
It's just
there.
weaving.
But yeah, I mean they outcompete a lot of the really beneficial native stuff that we have, and
Right.
Yeah.
that is the biggest issue with, and we've been talking about the main ones. There's a whole lot more. I can't fathom to think.
Russian olive.
There's been
Blessed
there's
Days of
whole
bicolor.
books written on it.
I know.
And we're just scratching the surface is something for everybody to think about.
A good example of what you just asked is Sericea lespedeza. Like I have not had to try to control Sericea a whole lot in my career. And so I'm in a Facebook group where I was asked, what have you guys done that you've been able to get a good handle on Sericea lespedeza where it's not just completely widespread yet? And it went down through from it started out of this is how we've treated it to it got all the way down to the point, well, why would you want to kill it? It's great rabbit cover. It's good for quail, yada, yada, yada. And I'm like, well, wait a minute. So, okay, it might be good cover for something.
Yeah.
But to throw out there that, hey, it's great for quail, which is right the opposite. I mean, it's been researched numerous times that, yeah, it's a heavy cedar. And you would think those little seeds would be great for quail and other songbirds and turkey and things like that. But especially from a quail standpoint, they'll eat that seed, absolutely. They'll gorge themselves on it because it's readily and available where it's at, and quail, utilize it for cover. But they're not able to break down that husk, so they're not able to actually digest what they're eating. So they actually lose body condition, and then their reproductive rates go down. So while people think, well, yeah, man, we cleaned all these quail and we checked what they were eating, and, man, they were just eating that stuff up.
Yeah.
Well, then you're hurting your quail.
Yeah, it's kind of like human eating corn.
Yeah.
Well, I'll fill my gut up with it, but ain't doing me much good.
Yeah.
Correct me, I don't remember, but it is my brain. Was that not introduced by somebody for quail?
Cattle.
Was it cattle? Okay.
Well, best of my recollection, it was. We've utilized it heavily through the years. I know for cattle production or forage.
Yeah, I know.
But it was also heavily used in the erosion control from mining, strip mining, surface mining.
Sericea was? Mm-hmm. Seems like a poor option.
Well, it was just in the mix of a lot of other things. So if you go onto a older reclamation site, it's absolutely,
I know. Yeah.
It's absolutely eat up with Sericea. Mm-hmm. And it's another one of those plants that it's kind of like Kogan grass. If you get in it when it's reproducing and it's putting off seed, you can carry that seed on a side by side or on a four wheeler, on other equipment, bush hogs, and you can spread it around. Mm-hmm. That's really how Kogan grass has gotten up here, is from mowing equipment and logging equipment.
Yeah.
And then I don't want to just put it on those two. Hunters are carrying it all over because they get in it and don't know what it is. They hunt down South Alabama and they come up here and they wash their stuff off, and boom, you've got a patch of it up here.
Yeah. I mean, I know different regions of the world, but in the part of Kentucky where we're talking about off camera earlier, went on the elk hunt, there's autumn olive up there everywhere. Yeah. And at least
talking about Iliagnus. Is that
Russian olive?
Yeah. It's this stuff. I mean, you would see black bears laying on their back, swatting the limbs and letting those things fall off where they can eat them and stuff. But at least to my knowledge, that was introduced in an effort to feed elk when they were reintroducing elk there. Now, I don't know if that's true or not. That's just kind of what we were told when we were up there. But
I would figure that it predated that.
it may have, but
I would estimate that with the type of mining activity that part of the world had,
that's where we were.
That
too.
it was more of a soil stabilization bush than it was for a wildlife food.
Mm-hmm.
And same thing, like Lespedeza bicolor was planted and used to be popular plant, and so did autumn olive. Mm-hmm. And it was from a sparsely used wildlife food or a windbreak or cover.
Yep.
You know, they'd put little patches of it for escape cover for quail to get into.
Yeah.
This is
in big woods.
Up there is just roadsides.
Yep.
I mean, it's just
yes.
down, both
and so
sides
that's
of the
what
road.
it does. It gets on the edge, kind of like privet, and it just absolutely takes over.
Yeah.
But if it gets enough sunlight, it will start working its way through that stand, and it will dominate the understory.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I forget which.
I mean, it was everywhere.
Yeah, and I've seen properties where people intentionally do that as a buffer so people can't see into their property. And boy, you talk about get my blood boiling real fast.
Well,
it's because those are generally the people that know better, and they spent the money to do that.
Yeah.
It's just like somebody going and buying.
You think about the easiest way for those stuff to move, those type species to move, especially those that produce a berry. Mm-hmm. Birds eat those berries, or whatever animal eats those berries, goes a mile over there, takes crap, boom, you got another plant.
Yeah.
And it just spreads from there. And I forget, I can't remember if it was Barber WMA or the old Butler or what. They had a big effort to, I think it was control bicolor. It could have been Russian olive, but I think it was bicolor Lespedeza that had gotten.
It was Lespedeza.
Gotten out of hand over there. And then, this was before my time with the department years ago, but they introduced what they thought and what it was supposed to be was our local cultivar for partridge pea. And ended up, I've got some pictures somewhere that I used in a slideshow talking about making sure you have the right local cultivar. Well, it was some kind of partridge pea, man, that got huge. Ours gets
8 inches high.
Yeah, I mean, deer might let it get a foot tall.
Yeah.
But this stuff, they were running through it with a 130, 140 horse tractor, and it's all the way up to the top of the hood.
Dang.
I mean, just a whole field of it that they're trying. And it was just.
It's partridge pea.
Yeah. I mean, it was wild at how tall and thick that stuff was. And Bill Gray was the one that gave me the picture, and I was like, that looks like partridge pea. And he's like, it is. It's just not the right one. I was
African partridge
pea. Okay. He said, yeah. He said, somehow we got the wrong cultivar and got it established on the site. And he said, we spent tons of money and a lot of man hours and a couple of years fighting that stuff to get it knocked out and then get the right cultivar back. Mm-hmm. So all you guys that are into planting native species, make sure when you're consulting with these companies that you are getting your local cultivar, what should be there.
Yeah.
Or you could
I'm going to tell you something, though.
royally screw up.
That's not really easy to do. That's finding a local a local
too.
native seed distributor that's trustworthy.
Yeah.
It's
that's why Kyle Liebarger, I think, has made such a splash. Mm-hmm. One, he's just out there all the time, and for us, he doesn't make crazy videos because we understand a little more what he's talking about. But a lot of people look at it and go, "Man, this guy's just trying to be controversial, doing crazy stuff." I mean, maybe, but I don't see it that way. He's just really all in on the habitat, and trying to protect it. But he goes out and picks these local cultivars, and he's growing them, and now he's able to to sell some of them, and he's working with other nurseries. I think it may be. I don't know. I don't want to speculate. I can't remember which big native seed group he's working with, but he's working with one of them and has helped. He's helped source local cultivars from all over the Southeast.
Yeah. I know Douglas King, the one we use in Texas, and I'm sure they have a lot of stuff that even overlaps here too.
Yeah.
It's a really good source out that way.
Local cultivars, when you're establishing a plant, is very, very important.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Guys, we are about the 120 mark, so we'll probably call it here.
That's not quite as good as the 420.
No, it's not. Believe it or not, funny story, I was in Denver, Colorado on 420 one year.
Could you breathe?
Not outside, you couldn't. You had to stay indoors.
I'd have walked
I didn't even
back to Gunners.
I didn't even think about it, like never even crossed my mind. And my wife had conference while we were there, and so she was like at one of her sessions or something. And I was like, I'm gonna go downtown and find something to eat or whatever. And I go outside and like, what is happening? It's like, oh.
Yeah,
it's 420.
Yeah, they should have. If they don't, they should have an event on 420 at Mile High Stadium and just call it "Get Mile High at Mile High."
Yeah,
man, you guys really fumbled the bag there, guys.
That's like fumbled the bag.
God, you really did. How is that not a thing?
Yeah. Boy, I'll tell you something about Uniontown, and we can leave it with that. I got while we're on the topic. That was 2004 or 5. It was my first or second semester at Auburn, I guess. I don't know if you remember. I drove to Sumter County, and I had killed a hoss of a turkey, and I want to say I killed it like on a Sunday morning, and I threw it in the bed of the truck in a bag or something and put some ice around it, and I was going to get back. Back then, we clicking and spinning the thing, guys, okay? And get some good pictures of it, as I didn't have anybody to take pictures of it, as I was hunting by myself. I pulled up to a red light, and I had the little red Z71, and I had him, with some of my bags and stuff, and propped up in there perfectly like this, so not to mess his feathers up and his feet.
So he was standing up.
Well, it's his feet and his tail fan was stuck up, and I had him mashed up in the corner so he couldn't flop around and mess his feathers up. But you could see the tips of his feathers and his toes sticking out of that bag. And I'm sitting, my radio, back then, radio on, windows down, only red light in Uniontown.
That's it.
And I'm sitting there, and I hear clock, clock, click, clock, click, clock, click, clock, click. And I'm like, what in the world? And, look, hey, I'm the farthest from race. I was raised with African American people. I consider them family. But I'm sitting here, and I turn to my left, and a guy pulls up on a donkey with a lead rope. Black guy, barefooted, wearing slacks and a button-down shirt. And he goes, "Hey, Mike, you get you a good turkey?" And I'm just like, "Hey, sir, how you today?" And he's like, "Man, I've been good. I'm in a change. Man, look, you got a good bud in that sack." I said, "Yes, sir. Sure enough." I said, "He's a good." And he said, "Well, man, I'm sure proud for you." Light turns green. He's in the turning lane, and he just takes off, riding his donkey to the house. And I sat there laughing. I think nearly the light turned red again. I was just like, what in the crap did I just witness?
Good old Uniontown.
Uniontown, Alabama, but nice as he could be.
Oh, yeah, good folk.
Yeah.
Good folk.
Shout out to the Shack and
old
Dudley, if he's still down there.
Yeah, we had some fun times down that way.
Yeah, but that was the one and only I've ever seen. A guy pulled up to the red light on his donkey.
A good place to leave it, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, guys, that'll wrap this one up. I was trying to think. As always, we appreciate you guys listening in, sorry, my brain is not wanting to work right now.
And I apologize for people that actually looked that up. It's not good.
Yeah.
If you would, please like, share, follow all the things, tell somebody about us. One thing we haven't mentioned very much is if you guys listen to us on Spotify or watch on Spotify, you can do both. Leave us a review on there. It helps us out a ton, and it really take you about 5 seconds to leave us one. And obviously, we'd prefer it be 5 stars, but if not, just leave us a review anyways.
Yep. And I'll tell you what we'll do. We need to we need to start upping some comments and shares. If on Spotify we get 10 reviews and 5 comments,
there you go.
We got some stuff to give away.
Yeah, we got some stuff coming. And I'm glad you said that, by the way. Those of you who have ordered merch from us, we apologize. We kind of had a little mix-up with our apparel company, a.k.a. me. But we've got what stuff has been ordered. It should be coming in actually today, and we're going to get that stuff sent out as fast as we possibly can. I appreciate you being patient. We should have already had it done, but a lot of moving parts around here. So,
yes, too many moving parts right now.
Busy.
Other thing is, if you have not already, please go check out the Habitat Network.
Mm-hmm.
If you're not familiar, real quickly, it's just a network of wildlife professionals that span across the whole Southeast. And if you live, whatever, maybe you live in middle Florida or something like that, and you need someone to give you a wildlife consult or help you with some burning or some thinning of your timber or whatever, chemical applications with drones, stuff like that, we have professionals literally across the whole Southeast, and we're adding to it every day. Jump on there, see if somebody is near you. You can actually look it up and see what professionals are in your neck of the woods.
Yep.
And you can reach out to them directly from the website and make contact with them, get hooked up. And these are people that have the academic background and the experience. They've got the credentials. They know what they're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
So we've vetted them, and there's more people applying to be professionals every day.
Yep.
And if you're not a subscriber to the network, it costs $45 for the year. We try to keep that cost down as low as we can, but this stuff costs money and all that kind of stuff. But if you'll go ahead and subscribe, it gets you a couple different things. Gets you access to, obviously, the network of professionals, but you can also get access to a private Facebook group where you can talk to these professionals and each other. You can send pictures, ask questions, all that kind of stuff, and everybody's kind of in that private group. And we do some monthly live stream sessions where you get to participate in those with some of the professionals, and it's just a pretty cool deal. It's starting to kind of pick up some steam here lately, and we're pretty excited about it. So check it out, thehabitatnetwork.com. And that's about all I got, y'all.
Yep.
Yep, we got
What's the weather?
1 or 2 days left of turkey season.
Yeah, in Alabama, it's the 6th and it ends on the 8th. So yeah.
Yep. So me and old Uncle Corey gonna try to go give it one more try tomorrow.
Yep.
We might give it 2 tries, but
So we got
depends on
tomorrow
what
and Friday.
Yeah, depends on what the weather's gonna do.
I don't care what it's going to do. I'm going.
And if you're not, you need to be getting your spring plantings in the ground.
Mm-hmm.
We wrapped up our 2 biggest ones finished yesterday.
Yeah, dove season will be here before you know it.
Yeah, and if you that's a great little segue there. If you got question on dove fields,
you need somebody to plant them.
Yep, how to plant, what herbicide prescriptions you use to keep those things clean, reach out to us.
Yeah, and doves are not just about planting. There's a lot more to it than that.
Yep.
We appreciate you guys, and we will see you on the next one.
Out.